alone in that, but sometimes it's like the easiest part of a difficult study is where I always make the mistakes. I think I'm going to go from the top with the metronome. For breathing today, I am not going to concern myself with super melodic, or I don't want to say that they're not intentional, but I'm not going to like concern myself too much with breath placement. I would never play this study for a performance. This one is very much just a study, just for practice. So I'm not really all that concerned about where I put the breath. So I'm just going to kind of take a pause when I need to, and to turn the page, and just like whenever that happens, that's what happens. If I were playing this on an exam, like a technique exam or something like that, I might be a little bit more diligent about placing the breaths and planning them for very specific places. But I don't see myself ever playing this in any situation that isn't just me like practicing, you know? Everybody's experience is different, but like when I was an undergrad and working on studies like this each week, that was usually the rule, or not rule, but like the convention, I guess, that we used was that something technical like this, you just kind of breathed when you need to, because it was more about rhythmic placement, you know, fingers, all that kind of stuff. So that's how I'm going to treat it today. I'm going to go from the beginning with the metronome. Phrase really ends like in the first measure of the next page. I'm going to stop there for now with just the first page. So I'm going to go through and mark the dynamics first of all, because I do want to be mindful of those. This may not be a study I play with the most musical breathing or the most beautiful like phrasing, but I can stay mindful of the dynamics as I go. So let's see. That crescendo is, oh no, there's the forte. I thought it was just kind of there, and then it was nothing until this A crescendo here and this piano here, but no, it's there. So this is a very gradual crescendo. So I'm going to make myself a little note at the beginning of this line too, so that I don't forget that I'm still crescendoing. Let me go ahead and mark the dynamics on the next page too. What am I at the page turn? It's a little bit cut off. Oh, I'm still crescendoing because there's another long crescendo. I'm going to assume the dynamics are more staggered when there's not a crescendo or decrescendo, terraced, or they're more sudden changes. Is that it? Just crescendo and more crescendo. Just energy through the end. I'm going to go back at the beginning with the metronome. Oh, I think I messed it up. No, I mean, I know that I messed it up. I think I flip-flopped something in my brain. It's that right there. Every time I miss this the E sharp back to the F sharp. For some reason, well, it's because every other time it changes, and that time we go back to the same note as before. I'm going back to the beginning again, because there's some places where I need to mark like pinky swaps, and I've been kind of just guessing or doing it differently every time. So I want to mark those in. I haven't found any as I was playing that I couldn't do like instinctively, but I want to go back and double check. I'm mostly doing like right hand C sharps through here because that just makes sense to me. And then that's a normal C in the, what is that, fourth measure? I'm probably also doing this D flat in the right hand because to me that makes sense since I'll be on a C natural in the right hand later in the bar. Probably also the C sharp in the right hand. Let me try that much and see if that's what I'm actually doing. that one I am flipping before I get to I'm flipping from the F sharp to the F natural here because chromatic fingering just doesn't make sense in context. Nope, I was wrong. I'm playing that C sharp with the left hand. I'm mostly doing right hand C sharps all the way through. Every time there's a C sharp, I'm probably doing it on the right hand. And same for D flats, because it's the same note. But this is left and this is right. This one will be right hand. This one will be right hand. This will be left. This will be right. I think that covers everything for a bit. Let me go back to the beginning. Try those. And there I need to be prepared to do the chromatic B natural, or as we like to call it in clarinet world, the fork key B natural, or sliver key B natural. Different preferences. I like fork key because it's shorter to write. I can't write anything today. And the same thing in the next bar. I'm gonna go from the beginning again because I want to see if I can be prepared for that transition the way I need to be. And that's a mistake I made earlier. I anticipated that B as a B flat and not a B natural because of this B flat in the bar before. But it's not. It's an augmented, E augmented triad. That's the right way to say it, I guess. Let's do, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to go back to the beginning of that decrescendo. About that transition that I find weird, so I'm going to mark it. I'm going to go back to the forte. Out fingerings through there. So I think I'm going to kind of stick to what I've been doing and do mostly the C sharps, D flats on right hand unless it's not working for some reason. I'm going to do all left hand B naturals through here because I have right hand E flat to worry about. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure to do this one. This one is actually really important that I make sure I have it on the right hand, make it to that A flat cleanly. You know, remember that this is a C natural because I get confused sometimes because of the D flat earlier in the bar. So this will be right. This will be left. I think this one will be right hand on the D flat, be right, this will be left. Same thing coming up, right, then left. Nope, that's the wrong way. Left then right. Oh, but I think I've missed this a couple times. I want to mark that it's the same note. It's that line break makes it difficult to anticipate. I'm gonna go back to that second forte, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7th line from the top. I need to be extra prepared for that F flat because I know what it is. I get to it fine, but I'm not anticipating it correctly. Then I make a mistake coming out of it going to the E flat. I'm gonna go back to the piano. I'm gonna work on that transition. So I'm gonna go back to that piano again. Mess it up, but I was thinking a different thought, and it's that I need to turn somewhere ahead of there so I can finish this phrase out neatly at the page turn, but there's nowhere in the first page that really lends itself well to the page turn, so I'm just going to arbitrarily choose here, because it's kind of the end of a phrase, even though there's not really a break or anything. So I'm going to go back to that spot and practice the page transition. Maybe there I'll go ahead and turn the page again. I'll do the second turn so that everything's already done. I feel like I'm having a better time of the fingerings, especially the pinky switches on this page. And I don't know if it's because it's easier or I've just kind of adjusted to what I need to do from working on the first page. But I want to go ahead and mark some anyway, just to make sure I don't forget them. I've been saying this, I think, a lot on stream and in lessons lately, and that like music, like playing and performing music is like a big, I don't know the percentage, but like a big chunk of that is just anticipating what comes next. And that's why we practice. It's not about like memorizing everything you play. Like I'm terrible at playing from memory. I might like actually know a piece, not well enough to play it from memory. Like the first thing that comes to mind is the Mozart Concerto First Movement. I played on every audition. So I'm pretty sure I do have it memorized. But like if you put me on the spot to play it, I would overthink it and make so many mistakes. So I just don't play from memory if I can avoid it whenever possible. I don't play from memory. But when you learn your music, like for ensemble, for solo music, whatever it is, a big part of practicing is not just like making sure you can physically do all the movements, make all the things happen. It's just anticipating and being ready for it. You know, it's not, even if you don't have every single note memorized, you can still like remember it enough to be ready for what's next. And that's what practicing does. I've had to explain this to a few students who haven't been practicing as much as they really should, especially with the goals they have. And you can't fast track that. You can't skip over like just building that muscle memory. Now, it's not all about muscle memory. You need to have like real musical knowledge to kind of bring a performance or a playthrough or whatever it is to life, but you have to have like that repetition to a certain extent to be able to play it. Some people are really strong sight readers, but it's because they've built that repetition, that practice in like other aspects. Like music, it only has so many patterns, right? Like there's only so many combinations of notes. It's not infinite. So every time you learn one particular figure or combination, that's going to be applicable to something else you play. So really being a strong sight reader is being able to relate what you're seeing on the page back to other things that you've worked on before and that muscle memory. So it all comes back to just like intentional repetition. Not mindless repetition. It's got to be quite intentional, you know, in order to get it right, have like that lasting like brain connection, I guess is a way to say it. I was going to mark in fingerings and I have not done that yet. So Yeah, this is the one time my D flat's not going to be, not going to be a right hand, because I'm going to do right hand C, left hand D flat, and that'll be right hand E flat, left hand B. That is also an E flat. No, it's not. It's an E natural because it changes here. I think that'll be a right hand D flat as well. See, this is the kind of thing I might overthink in the moment. Like, I might be practicing and just very instinctively play this with the pinky combinations that make sense to me, and then it works out fine. Not necessarily all the way through in this study, because I find it to be like full of just potholes, like that it wants you to trip in and step into. But then in a performance, I might start overthinking those fingering choices and then make a mistake out of like spontaneous indecision, especially if I'm playing from memory. So sometimes, like, even if I already know exactly what I'm doing, marking it in just can like save me in a performance if I try to like overthink it and confuse myself. Let me finish marking these in. I think this will be a right hand C sharp. I think this will be right hand D flat again. And then this will be right hand D sharp, left hand B. Might try that out. I'll start after the rest. To mess up a little bit. A little bit better. There were a couple places where my fingers were a little unsteady, but I didn't let it totally break down. So I think it's coming together. I didn't see anywhere through that second half of this page that stuck out to me as somewhere I wanted to write in fingerings, but I might circle back to that if I think of something. I'm gonna go from the beginning at this speed and try and put all those in. Nope, that was wrong. was talking earlier about like anticipating what comes next. I think I'm doing a better job of that now in this study, but like the flip side of that, or the mistake I'm making related to that, is that sometimes I am over anticipating, and it means I'm rushing ahead or accidentally skipping or almost skipping a note. And sometimes it's just a full-on mistake, and sometimes it's just like unsteadiness in my fingers that sounds like a weak, technical moment. I think now I want to keep working on pressing the tempo a little bit faster. I fully accept that in this study, in this practice today, I'm not going to be able to play all 2 pages top to bottom without having some sort of note mistake. There are just so many accidentals, so many notes. I've been practicing it a little bit the past several days. Like I said, I don't want to over practice it before a stream because I want to have things to work on. Otherwise, it's just me playing it through over and over, But I feel like my level of familiarity with it is that like I kind of have got a handle of like on the patterns, and what to expect. But I'm rushing in places, and that makes me mess up. And it's also just really slow. I don't think I'm going to have it at Allegro vivace today, but I can try and make it a little bit faster. Let's try just 5 clicks faster. I messed that up. I messed those notes up, but I also missed this. I need the chromatic fingering here on that F sharp. The other one I've got okay, but that one I missed. I'm gonna go back to the forte, like 3 lines ago. This study is going to take anything in my technique that was rusty from missing practice or being sick with COVID and just like force me to fix it. I'm still not like 100% back where I want to be, but I feel like my playing is starting to sound halfway decent again. Let me try 5 clicks faster. Now this is quarter note equals 90. it is about this spot that is so difficult, but my fingers do not want to cooperate with it. I'm going to go back to the piano before my page turn. There it is. I need to work on that passage some more. It's still not quite right. I'm gonna go back to that same spot. Still not quite right. It's almost there, but I'm still messing it up a little bit. It's that connection between the G sharp and the F that's not very good, but also the connection between the D and the B natural. That's getting closer. It is getting better, but it's still not 100%. Closer. So not all the way there. Sometimes I feel like it's as simple as just slowing it down and examining each note to note connection and make sure that like I'm allowing for the time and space that each one of those note to note connections needs in my mind as I play it, which is what I meant. Like it's like rushing mentally leads to like rushing in your playing. And I know that's something I'm prone to doing, especially when I'm like really focused on like getting the notes right. It's like sometimes I don't even notice if I like accidentally zoom past something until I kind of like think back over it. But I feel like the secret sometimes is just separating your thoughts out and making sure there is one for each individual note can make all the difference. I'll try from the beginning again because I really want to make that page turn in context. but I still stumble through some spots. But I think that's to be expected. I feel like I would have to spend more than just a couple days, you know, or a couple hours time on this study to like really feel like I've got it mastered. I don't think I'm going to go any faster than this today. I think quarter note equals 90 is enough for now. I think I want to just work on tidying it up at this tempo. Yeah, I'm going to go from the beginning again. So it's getting better. So I'll go from the top again, but this time without the metronome.